U.S. Navy Captain Armen Kurdian joining us now to talk more about the ongoing situation. Netanyahu is indicating that there is a deal in the works to free the hostages. Is this a direct result of the pressure we're seeing on the ground from the IDF?
Good morning, Marni. So that's part of it. A lot of it is, of course, diplomatic pressure that our administration is bringing to Israel. But what I suspect is happening, or what I hope is happening, is that while there is a geopolitical necessity for us to maintain that public pressure on Israel, behind the scenes, I'm very hopeful that we are providing significantly more pressure, diplomatic pressure, on a lot of the Arab nations that might hold more sway with Hamas, to allow for these pauses to allow the civilians to leave these hospitals. As was just mentioned, it is not in Hamas' interest to allow these civilians to leave. Israel has mentioned that they've been fired at from the hospitals. There's video of them firing from the hospitals, or even firing at patients who are afraid to flee and get away. It is not in Israel's interest for these hospitals to maintain this situation where they are continuing to suffer, but it is in Hamas' interest. So if you look back from an impartial standpoint, you really kind of got to believe the Israeli side of the story.
And which Arab nations would you like to see the most pressure put on of those you mentioned?
I think Qatar holds sway. I think you look at a lot of the nations that are maybe publicly, again, who are speaking out the loudest against Israel might be the ones who are, of course, providing themselves some kind of public cover to provide that private pressure against Hamas. Now, whether or not it's going to be effective, we don't know. Remember, it's Hamas is being supported by Iran, and the rest of many of the Arab nations in the Middle East are not necessarily on the best of speaking terms. Although when it comes to Israel, they tend to unite on some fashion. I believe the Saudis should be able to bring a lot of that pressure. Saudi Arabia, as you know, was working towards a potential peace deal with, or at least a normalization of relationships with Israel. So there's that's going on behind the scenes as well. But let's remember that Hamas's own leadership has called for sacrifice of their people for freedom and to end Israeli occupation, which makes no sense because Israel wasn't occupying the Gaza Strip. They don't want to be in the Gaza Strip. They have no intention or desire of any kind of presence within the Gaza Strip. They don't want that. So a lot of those calls are simply false. We can hope that these hostages get released soon and fast, and that this humanitarian disaster, which is really being perpetrated by Hamas, ends quickly.
And the families of the hostages have asked for proof of life. Those close to the talks cannot provide that. But if they believed that the hostages had been killed, would they say so at this point?
I do believe that they would, and they might provide video evidence of that. Of course, by doing that, they may be calling themselves out. I believe that most of the hostages, not all the remaining hostages, are still alive. They're probably in areas where there is little fighting, or where Israel may not realize where they actually are in these tunnel systems, which kind of going back to our previous discussion, look at all the money that was spent going into these tunnels, that was spent buying these IEDs, suicide vests, and all these missiles and rockets that could have gone into Gazan infrastructure, that could have gone into these hospitals. All of this money that is being spent on warfare unnecessarily to initiate hostilities against Israel for no other reason because of who they are. This humanitarian disaster is completely avoidable. It didn't need to actually happen. But if we do get some kind of a ceasefire, it must include the release of the hostages, and it must include some measure of Hamas surrender. Hopefully, with this continued Israeli pressure, the continued success on the ground, maybe some of the elements of Hamas will say this isn't worth it. We're getting killed. This isn't. I want to live to see another day. I'm ready to surrender. Here's my weapons, and then we can maybe see some of these people get freed.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.